Welcome to NOS 230 Chapter 10 video. In this video, I'm going to show you how to create users, create a group, assign user into a group, create organization unit or OU, create group policy, and apply group policy to organization unit. Let's look at the scenario. Say the Troy librarian has 3 computers that are joined to the domain or the Windows 2016 server. What do we mean by joining a PC to a domain? When we join a PC to a domain, we can apply the group policy in the domain to those computers that join to the domain. Furthermore, when you create a user in the domain or in the Active Directory, those users can log into those computers that join to the domain. So there are a lot of benefit to the joining PC to a domain. For a larger company or a big institution that have several hundred computers, they simply create policy in the domain and force those policy to apply to all of those PC that join to the domain, so that way they don't have to go to each computer and configure it manually. So that's a benefit. So assuming that the Troy library has 3 computers that already joined to the domain, and the librarian, Mrs. Susan Bright, wants us to find a way to prevent the public user to access to the 3 client computer hard drive, namely the C drive, because she believed that these computers are mainly used on the internet and also to print documents, so there's no need for them to access to the C drive. So she wants us to find a way to do that. Now, she also wants us to create or configure so that her and her assistant, Mr. John Reed, will have full access to these 3 computers hard drive when they log into the computer. Okay, so how we are going to do that? Well, the solution in this issue is to create a policy for each public user login account to prevent him or her to see the hard drive. Since the policy will apply to all public user account or to each public user account, it doesn't matter which computer and which account he or she use. For example, if a user uses account user 1 log into the computer number 3, he or she still won't be able to see the hard drive because we apply the policy to the user configuration. Okay, so we'll see a little bit. Now the step that we are going to approach this are as follow. Number 1, we will create an account for Miss Susan Bright and Mr. John Reed. We create an administration group or a group called administration and assign the domain administrator right to it. That means that whoever or the member of this group will have administrator right. So we will assign Susan Bright and John Reed as a member of the administration group. Step number 3, we'll create an organization unit called No Access C drive. Then we'll create 3 users inside of this No Access C drive. And these users are user 1, user 2, and user 3. Then we'll create a policy called Prevent User See Hard Drive. And finally, we'll apply this Prevent User See Hard Drive policy to the OU called No Access C drive. That's what we are going to do. So let's begin. Now I need to launch the Active Directory user and computer. So I click on 2 and click on Active Directory user and computers, and the Active Directory pop up. Now when you first create your domain or create the Active Directory, these container and OU are built in by default. Notice that built-in computers, foreign security principle, and these two right below here are the regular container, or simply called container. The one that have a square symbol inside of it is an organization unit, or an OU. Again, these two, or these right here, are container. This called it OU. What is the difference between an OU and a regular container? The difference is that you can apply group policy to an OU. You cannot apply group policy to a container or to this regular container. That's the difference. So our step number 1 is to create an account for Miss Susan Bright and John Reed, and also create a group called administration. Well, for John Reed, I already created. It's right here. Okay, by the way, this group and this user right here are created by default when we create the Active Directory. Okay, the only one that I create is just John Reed, user 1 and user 2. Everything else already pre-created for me. The same thing true when you go into the container built-in. These groups right here are created automatically when we create the Active Directory or the domain. Now, the computer container does not have any computer list in here. The reason because I have not joined any computer to this vang.com domain. That's the reason why there's no computer list in here. Alright, so let's begin. We want to create a user, call it Susan Bright. So right click on user, click on new, click on user again, then simply type Susan Bright, and we have to create the login name in order for us to proceed. So S Bright. Okay, next. Now for the password, I'm going to check user cannot change password and password never expire. In the real world, you do want password to be expired. Depend on the company policy. Some company want the password to expire every 90 days. Some other company might want the password to expire every 30 days. So usually we don't check on the password never expire. But anyway, in here we go ahead and do that. Okay. So I create Susan Bright. Now the next thing, I need to create a group called administration. Okay. Now for the group scope, I want to leave it in global, or as global. Global meaning that any user in the multiple domain within a single forest can be member of this administration. Universal meaning that many forests or many member of the many forests can be a member of the administration. So at least for the purpose of this project, I'm simply use global. The majority we probably will use global scope anyway. Okay, and the group type just leave for security. Click on OK, and in here there's no description. So if you want to add the description, which is you do in your project, I require that you must have the description. So you double click on it, or you can right click and click on property, either way. So type the description. I call the librarian and assistant librarian. Okay, apply. Okay, now next step, I need to assign the members to this group. Who's supposed to be a member of this group? Remember, Miss Susan Bright want us to create a policy so that she and her assistant will have the full right or full access to the 3 computers, meaning that they must have administrator right. So to do that, we have to add administrator domain user to this group. Okay, notice that this administrator group is belong to the domain. Alright, now for the members, who are the members? Susan Bright, okay, and John Reed are the 2 members of this group. And this group administration right here belong to the, or is a member of the administrator of the domain. So apply, okay. Alright, now next thing what I need to do is to create an OU, or an organization unit, called No Access C Drive. So an organization unit is a part of the domain, so I right click on the domain, click on new organization unit, and type No Access C Drive. And I want to leave this checkmark protect container from accidental deletion on, because I don't want this OU to be accidentally deleted. Well, if I right click on delete, here you go, notice that you cannot delete it. Okay, alright, and we want to create 3 users inside of this OU. So this user will be part of that OU. So user 3, alright, and user 3, user 1 and user 2 I already create already, so we're just going to move it. Alright, okay, now so user 3 is a part of the No Access C Drive, or the object up right here. Now user 2 and user 1 I already create them inside of the user container, so I can move this object from one container to another container, or move from one container to an OU. In this case, I want to move to the OU called No Access. Okay, right click on user 2, move to No Access C Drive. There you go. Okay, so I move these 3 users inside of the No Access C Drive. And what's the next step? Well, the next step, what we need to do is to create a policy called Prevent User C Hard Drive, and then apply that policy to the No Access C Drive OU. So in order to create a group policy, I have to go into the group policy management. So I click on Tool, click on Group Policy Management. Alright, here you go. Now this is the group policy management right here screen. Notice that there's not much different between the group policy management and the Active Directory, exception that all the regular container in the Active Directory are not listed in the group policy management. Only the OU listed. Notice the domain controller, No Access C Drive, No Access C Drive. Okay, all the other regular container do not list in here. And then we need to create a policy, a group policy. So I right click on the group policy object, click on new, and we are going to call it Prevent User C Hard Drive. Alright, click on OK. Now this is simply, I have 2 of this, so let's delete one of them. Okay, now this is simply the name of it. We have not applied any policy, or we have not created any policy inside of this group policy object yet. So assuming that we don't know where that policy is located, so we go to Google and we type in group policy to prevent user from access to hard drive and click on search. Alright, there you go. My computer is a little bit slow in internet. So, and according to Google, it says, hey, look, it's inside of the user, the path is inside of user configuration, administrative template, window component, window explorer, and then you will see that policies inside of that. So let's do the same thing. Now we do right click on that policy name that we create, and we click on edit, and these are the group policy management editor. Now in your Windows 10 or Windows 8 or Windows 7 will have these two sections or this group policy right here. So according to Google, it said that we need to click on user configuration. The reason for that, because we want to limit the user from seeing the hard drive, or we want to prevent this user from seeing the hard drive. So we need to use the user configuration instead of computer configuration. And Google said, okay, go to user configuration and administrative template. Well, in here we have user configuration but no administrative templates. Let's click on policy. There you go, administrative templates right here, and then click on that. The next one will be window component. Let's go, window components, and the last one's window explorer. Well, there's no window explorer in here, however there's file explorer. So Windows 2016 and Windows 10 are a little bit different, but it gives you some idea where can you find that policy. Okay, alright, so now we need to find the policy to prevent the user from accessing to the hard drive. So if I scroll it down, I should see it. There you go, prevent access to drive from my computer. So right now it's not configured. I double click on that and I enable it, meaning that I configure it. And what do I want? I want to restrict C drive only. So click on apply, click on OK. Notice that this policy is enabled now, meaning that this policy will be enforced. Okay, and where do I create that policy? Under the prevent user C hard drive. So next thing, what I need to do? Well, I need to apply this policy to this OU, because I don't want any user in this OU to see the hard drive. So I right click on that, link an existing GPO group policy object, and the GPO that we just created is this right here. Double click on that. Here you go. Notice that, so this policy now is enforced to the OU, no access C drive. Alright, that's all I need to do. I'm done with that. So now the policy applied to this OU, so these three people will not be able to see the hard drive. Alright, let's test it. Okay. Alright. Now I need to log out from administrator. That's what I am right now. See, I'm administrator. So I click on this right here. Click on this. Click on sign out. And I need to sign in as. Notice when you sign in, this is a domain name. That's a username. So I need to click on other user, and my user 1, 1, 2, 3. That's my password. There you go. Alright, if we did it correctly, user 1 should not be able to see the hard drive. So let's click on the File Explorer, click on this PC, click on C drive. There you go. This operation has been cancelled due to restriction in effect on this computer. Please contact your system administrator. So user 1 will not be able to see the hard drive because what we just did. Now let's look at user 2 to make sure that it's doing the same thing. Alright, and let's click on this and other user, so user 2. Okay, oh, mistype, user 2. Alright, and again we want to verify to make sure that user 2 cannot access to the hard drive. This PC, there you go, same thing. Alright, next step, we want to see that the two user, that is Miss Susan Bright and Mr. John Reed, can access to the hard drive. So we're going to log out from here, and I'm going to log in as John Reed. Okay, J Reed. Okay, now if we did it correctly, John Reed should be able to see the hard drive. There you go. As a matter of fact, he has full administrator rights, so he can create new folder, new file, delete folder, delete file, or whatever. So that's how you implement group policy, okay, in a domain. Alright, thank you.